and all of West Michigan. It's 8 o'clock. Good morning and welcome to Leading West Michigan, a show about success and featuring local leaders and people in local business. And now here's your host, Ryan Howe.
Good morning, West Michigan. We have a great show for you today. I'm Ryan Howe. I am a business coach who helps organizations grow. I help companies like Matthew 6 Construction, Larson's Landscaping, Safe Harbor Credit Union, and Lake Michigan Senior Living with every aspect of their company. Why wait? Start your business transformation today. Follow Summit Business Guides on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Connect with me on LinkedIn and learn more at summitbusinessguides.com. The show is all about learning about our guest leadership journey, and joining us today is Scott Beal, the Executive Director of the Silver Lake Sand Dunes Hart Visitors Bureau and the Chamber of Commerce. Good morning, Scott.
Good morning.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, like what's the geographic area that covers? Yeah.
It really is Hart, Mears, which is the little town on the way to Silver Lake, and then Silver Lake itself, which is officially Mears.
Yeah.
People get very confused, but the mailing address is Mears, Michigan.
No, and when I try to explain to people, so I used prior to moving back here, I lived and worked in Portland, Maine. It's definitely a tourist town that they have there, and they would talk about how they would go from there's been 90,000 people on the actual peninsula of Portland for almost 100 years. The population really hasn't changed much just because of they don't allow a lot of building and things like that. But every day during the tourist season, now they're getting 90,000 people that are coming in. And they're like, man, it's crazy how much growth that is. And I was like, let me tell you a story about a little town called Mears and the way that goes. And how many full-time residents are in Mears? It's not many.
No, it's, in maybe 500.
Yeah, it's a small. And then what's the number of people that actually, tourists, most recent numbers you have that actually come through and visit visit the area?
Yeah, it's at least 1.6 million.
So that's a little bit more than 500. So, so you have to have a very dynamic group there. And we're looking forward to learning more about that, especially how you manage that and how that goes through there. But with that, Scott, where are you from originally?
Well, actually, I was born at Michigan State University.
Really? Okay.
My parents were attending, and I was born in the, I don't know if they have it anymore, but back then they had married housing dorms.
Married housing dorms.
Apartments.
Okay.
Yep.
So they were attending as far as they were going to school there? Or
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
What did they go to school for?
Well, they were both teachers. Education, most of our family, has all been teachers through the years. Okay,
what did they specialize in? Like, were they middle school, high school? What did they teach?
Like my dad started out as like a middle school history teacher, and then, but very early he realized that, like it is still now, education wasn't, a great salary for a growing family, so he switched to banking.
Oh, so that's an interesting switch. So do you go into like loans and stuff like that, or where do you spend his time?
He was always in, back then it was just starting, but the credit cards and the installment lending.
Okay, got it. So the unsecured type stuff, he was in that world. Okay, great.
So he spent his whole career in banks, and that was kind of why I didn't grow up here, so to speak, as in third grade we moved to St. Louis, Missouri, and he got a good job at a bigger bank, and like a lot of regions in the country, we were one of the few parts of our family to actually, move away, so to speak.
No, I get that. No, again, if you're just joining us, we're talking with Scott Beal, the Executive Director of the Silver Lake Sand Dunes Hart Visitors Bureau and Chamber of Commerce. I'm Ryan Howell. This is Leading West Michigan, and the show is all about learning about our guest leadership journey. So, again, started off, born down in Michigan State, and then you make your way down to St. Louis.
Yep.
So you took the job there. Your mom, what did she teach? Did she keep teaching when she got down there?
Mostly kindergarten.
Okay, so she was the person that basically was the rules and got everybody kind of used to showing up. This is what school is going to be for you. This is your life for the next 12 years. Kids, get used to it.
Yep, she loved teaching kindergarten and the younger kids, and our house was full of, boxes of youth books and, just again, what teachers do is amazing.
Oh,
Even today, you see them on TikTok or Instagram, and they spend so much time, extra time getting their classrooms ready. And
absolutely. We have a lot of teachers in my family. My daughter, she's just finishing up her first year as a full-time first grade teacher, and the amount of time that they spend on making it a great learning environment for for their students, taking care of our kids basically is it's amazing what they do. So
it really is.
Yeah. So how about you? How did you like school?
I was more of the attending because I had to. I mean, I was always just kind of a C student, and like my sister was honor society and all that, and for me, education was, I had to go.
Yeah, it was someplace you had to report to. So you're there for the social aspect, and if you happen to pick up some
sports. Mostly.
Sports. Okay, so
Yep.
sports.
Yep.
What'd you specialize in? What'd you like?
Well, in St. Louis, nowadays all over the country and the world, but mostly in the U.S. back then, soccer was not a well-known sport, and I played soccer, and frankly, it was just something we, tried as Little League, and again, being from Michigan, we didn't even know what soccer was, and so I enjoyed it, and ended up staying with it all the way through college.
Oh wow, okay. So what position did you play?
Goalie.
You're a goalie? Okay. I was going to say you had the build of I was trying to imagine you as a build more of basically a midi, but okay, let's say goalie on that. So it's
back
good.
then, like the national team, the Olympic team, most of the big college teams, which there wasn't that many back then, like a team like even Ohio State, half their team would all be from St. Louis.
Oh, wow.
Because, it was a core area where it was a big sport, so.
Did they have travel? Did you have like travel teams and stuff there too, like around the region, or was it all just like this?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we would play for the school, but then all the rest of the year we would play for our club teams.
Okay, great.
Which again is now standard, and frankly, that was why I didn't play like football or basketball, meaning other seasons, because you pretty much had to focus on one thing.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. That's good. So with that, you mentioned that you were, C's get degrees type of an individual, but you ended up heading to college. So what was your decision making process like? Where was college always going to be a thing, or what?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
I even because I all growing up in St. Louis through grade school and high school, we would come up for a week or two in the summer to Ludington and visit our family, and like our family is named Old OLDT, and so they had a farm out in Riverton Township, south of Scottville, and after he retired from farming, my great-grandfather, he had bought some land on one of the little lakes out there called North Oxbow Lake. And,
Okay, yep, I know where that is.
So, like most people, he was bored with retiring, so he built 5 little cottages and opened a resort.
I find so. My mom is she's going to be listening to this, so Mom, I'm going to talk a little bit about you. That it's not that you get excited, you finally get to retirement, and then you're like, okay, now what? And it's not. But every retiree that I've talked to lately says they're so busy for the first 4 to 5 years because they're doing all the stuff that they want to do.
Sure.
And then they run out of the stuff that they wanted to do, and now they're like, now what? So
Yep.
your case,
Yep.
Grandpa said, I'm going to be building. So that's interesting. So it turned into a little resort out there.
Yep, it was called Oxbow Lake Resort, and back then, there was outhouses and pump water, and to this day, at least once a summer, somebody will drive down the driveway where along the lake there, and say, I stayed here when I was 12, and so it's very unique.
It's definitely different hearing what amenities meant back then too. So hey, we've got water, just got to go work for it. So
we'd come up and stay in one of the cottages for the summer, and then in the winter we'd come up and obviously for Christmas and stay with relatives or whatever. And so I was always up here at least twice a year.
Oh, that's great to hear.
Yeah.
We're continuing our conversation with Scott Beal, the Executive Director of the Silver Lake Sand Dunes Heart Visitor Bureau and Chamber of Commerce. So with that, where'd you end up going to college at?
Well, you asked earlier, what I was pursuing or whatever. It was purely which team would let me play on their soccer team.
Okay, got it.
Meaning
No.
I was not a big star, but I was minorly, I had like 12 recruiting letters. And so I went to Missouri State. It was called Southwest Missouri State back then. And so it was kind of like a Western Michigan or Central Michigan. And so it was perfect for me because, again, I wasn't a huge academic. And so I played on the team. And then, I majored in broadcasting. And back then they called it electronic media.
Electronic media, okay.
Yep.
What was, so why were you majoring in broadcast? What drew you that direction? Do you have experience somewhere? What was that?
All my friends were.
So all your friends are like, hey, we're going to go over and do this thing. You should come along too.
Well, again, that was you start out with no major, and it just seemed really interesting. And I even had a minor in film history, and so we would do long papers on silent movies or whatever. And I was like, this is the best degree ever.
Get to watch movies and write about it. So,
Yep.
But from a technical aspect, I'm assuming though, where you go back. So, okay, so you got your soccer careers going, handling business out there with the college.
Yeah.
And then you're in broadcast. So how did you graduate with a broadcast degree?
Nope.
Okay, so
Nope.
what ended up happening there?
Well, I would, my third year I got hurt in a game, and so I had to take time off and move back home to have surgery. And back then, now they can do like the knee surgery and you're back in a few months. And back then it was a very major operation. And, the doctor said I could never play again, and so I was, kind of, sitting back at home. And, when you go to college and then move back home, it's no fun,
Yes, I've heard.
Yep. So, frankly, one of our neighbors was over one day and he said, well, I can give you a job. And I said, where? And because I was in rehab and all that and getting ready to be back. And he worked for a towboat company on the Mississippi where they moved those huge barges up and down the Mississippi in Ohio. And he said, you could be a deckhand and make huge money, kind of like going on an oil rig.
Sure.
And I was like, that sounds so neat, to sit on the boat and you're seeing the whole river and up and down the Mississippi. And so I signed up, and it was the longest 6 months of my life. It was because at that age, you don't really research things much. And I don't even think there was an internet then. And so you had to go on for 30 days and then off for 30 days. And it was very, very hard work.
Oh, I imagine so. Yeah, probably not a lot of getting time just to sit on basically on the deck and like, hey, look, this is pretty. There's a lot of just floating, like you're floating down the river.
We never sat down.
Yeah, I didn't think that was going to be the case.
So yeah, you would work 6 hours and then sleep 6 hours and then work 6 hours. So every day seemed like 2 days.
Wow, that's something. So you said that went on for 6 months.
Well, yeah, and then I went back to school.
Okay.
And went back to classes, but I couldn't play anymore. And then I was like, I started doing the towboats just for like a couple months in the summer.
Okay.
And so it was great. It was a great experience, but very hard work. And it was also all the deckhands in those riverboats. The funny part of it is they were all from the deep, deep South, and they. They were like, "Who are you?" Because to them, a St. Louisan was a Northerner.
Of course, yeah. You might as well live up in Canada at that point. So
they were very hard on me.
Okay, of course, and that's the nature of the beast. You come into any group and you're an outsider.
Sure,
you got to earn your stripes. It's just part of the deal.
But to this day, some of them still laugh at me because I keep in touch with them. We became friends, and I had no idea what grits were. I had no idea what biscuits and gravy were.
So how do you take your grits?
Pardon?
How do you take your grits?
Oh, just butter.
Just butter? Okay, good. Yeah. All right. Me and you are in the same boat there then, good.
But, they were very upset with me, because I thought the grits were oatmeal. And
okay.
Again, I was like, why are we putting gravy, dinner gravy on breakfast food, and but I loved it,
That's great. So you did that, and then you went back to school, and you mentioned that, you didn't finish with broadcast. So what was your shift? What did you shift as far as your major? I was working at I stopped doing the towboat, and my last summer job, I had, like a year and a half left of school with all the breaks, and I was working at a Marriott resort at Lake of the Ozarks, Missouri, and Marriott recruited me into their management trainee program, and of course I said, well, I haven't finished yet. And they're like, we don't care. At the time, hotels were booming. And so I went through their training school and started opening new hotels. Okay. So that is a very marked and quick shift. So how did you get in with the, again, Marriott, was that just a job that was open that you just went
Well, they were recruiting management training.
So specifically just, they said, hey, we'd like you to have current management. So what did that management training look like? Did you work on site at the Marriott, or what did that?
They sent us to large hotels, and we worked in every department for like 6 weeks to 2 months.
So, every department 6 weeks, or each on each
every
of the
department.
So what was the total training length then for that management?
About a year.
About a year.
Yep.
Okay. Where did they send you to around? Was it just in the local
Dallas,
area?
Texas.
Okay. Well, Dallas definitely has a lot of hotels. So.
Yeah, and again, I had no idea, but I also knew part of the reason was some of my friends had graduated already, and with the broadcasting degree, and there was no jobs because everybody had majored in that at the time.
Around what date was it? Like what year was this?
Like 82, 83.
Okay, so we've just got cable news is starting to sort of be a thing, and there's
not really.
Really?
I mean, back then you still just had, even in a big city like St. Louis, you had like 5 channels.
Okay.
Well, you're right. In college, we did have like HBO and cable. So
that's what I was saying. I knew that was, but they hadn't started really branching out into the full piece there. So.
Yeah, I remember like HBO had like 5 show movies.
Yeah, they would just rotate through too. That was great.
Yep.
So, all right. So with that though, you started with it in Dallas. You went through that training, and what'd your family think of that? You've gone from, basically college playing soccer. The next thing you know, you're working on tugboats, and now all of a sudden you're going into, hospitality and hotel management.
Well, they thought it was great because they knew you're their son. They knew I wasn't a big academic, and so they thought it was great, and it was. It's an example of now it's so competitive in business, where the the high school students even have resumes now, and they have to have, it's so competitive to get into the good colleges, and obviously it wasn't like that then, and there was many fields like hotels and others where they didn't really care if you had the whole degree,
Yeah, they were going to basically just teach you what you needed to know there. And you mentioned that about the resumes here as we're heading into our first break, that, locally, and I'm going to apologize ahead of time to folks basically with the Right Start. I can't remember the name here, but there's actually a program that the schools are enrolled in here where students are filling out their resumes to match skill sets with what they need in high school with local folks here. So
it's the College Access
There you
Network.
go. Thank you. So
it's a great program. It helps the juniors get ready, and for all the hurdles they're going to have to go through.
Absolutely. So, but yeah, as you were saying, it's just times have changed, so we can do a better match for them. So, you're listening to Leading West Michigan on 102.7 WMOM at home on your Amazon Alexa or Google Home smart devices, streaming online at WMOM.FM, and live video streams on the 102.7 WMOM Facebook page and WMOM YouTube channel. So let's get into that first break, and when we get back, let's hear about what it was like when you got into your first your hotel right off the bat for the first job.
Well,
do you enjoy refunds on ATM withdrawal fees, building savings automatically, no monthly maintenance fees, and free digital banking? Well, Safe Harbor Credit Union offers a free checking account that pays 5% APY on balances up to $15,000. You can open your account within minutes. Innovative checking built on traditional values. Free Kasasa Cash rewards you for supporting your community. Some key features include high dividends, refunds on ATM withdrawal fees, no monthly maintenance fees, and no minimum balance requirements. To learn more, check out our website at safeharborcu.org or come visit us at our office at 5511 US 10. Member, owner, neighbor. Here, you're one and the same. Safe Harbor Credit Union.
At 1031 Stop, we believe in starting your day right, and we've got the perfect breakfast option that'll make your mornings brighter. Introducing our mouth-watering breakfast pizza, a delicious fusion of flavors that'll kickstart your day with a burst of energy, but the goodness doesn't stop there. 1031 Stop's bacon cheeseburgers are a delicious delight, made with the finest ingredients for an unbeatable taste. Craving something crispy and irresistible? Try the boneless chicken wings that are a game-changer perfect for any time you're in the mood for bold, flavorful bites. For a lighter option that doesn't compromise on taste, try the Chicken Caesar Wrap, a delightful combination of freshness and flavor that will satisfy your cravings. Transport your taste buds to Italy with our Italian sub, a timeless classic crafted with love and the finest ingredients. Stop at the 1031 Stop on the corner of US 31 and US 10 today.
Mom's Fridge Magnets are community calendar announcements presented by Watson Motors, West Michigan, CMH, McGee Insurance, and Lakeshore Automotive and Tire. Another fridge magnet comes your way next.
Hi, this is Lori from West Michigan CMH. Recovery is a journey of healing and transformation. For mental health challenges or substance use disorders, it's about living meaningfully and striving for your full potential. Start living your best life. Call us today at 1-800-992-2061.
With cooler weather creeping in, now is the ideal time to make sure your home is protected and to ensure you will have a roof over your head if the unthinkable occurs. At McGee Insurance Group, we can help you find the right policy to protect your home and possessions and understand what's covered if disaster strikes. We're open weekdays from 8 to 5 and are located next to Pizza Hut on US 10 in Ludington. Our number is 231-845-5000. Contact us today to see what options are available for you.
There will be a play and learn date Wednesday, March 20th from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. This date is hosted by the Mason Lake Oceana Great Start Collaborative. The event will take place at the Walkerville Wesleyan Church. This session offers babies, toddlers, and young children a wide variety of early learning experiences. If your group or nonprofit organization has an announcement that you would like others to know about, reach out to us and we'll add it for free to the Fridge Magnet program thanks to Lakeshore Automotive and Tire, McGee Insurance, West Michigan, CMH, and Watson Motors.
It's Leading West Michigan, and we're back with your host, Ryan Howe, on 102.7 WMOM.
Welcome back, and I'm Ryan Howe with Summit Business Guides, and we're continuing our conversation with Scott Beal, the Executive Director of the Silver Lake Sand Dunes Hart Visitors Bureau and then the Chamber of Commerce. And before the break, we had a great opportunity to just kind of hear, one of the things that I talk about consistently on the program here, and I will say this for any folks that are in high school or in college, just understand, at 17, you have it all figured out. And by 22, you've learned an awful lot about, maybe at 17 I didn't have it all figured out, and where you end up landing, because opportunities are going to show up over those next 5 to 7 years. Most people end up going in a completely different direction. And in your case, you ended up with Marriott. So what was your first hotel that you landed at? Now, did you land as like you were running the hotel proper, or were you like an assistant manager? What that looked like as far as the? No,
after the training, we were like assistant managers of catering or, whatever department. And I settled in the catering, banquets, and, we would obviously do the, large banquet dinners and, 10-course dinners, for thousands of people.
And you were just on the catering piece, not the event package, or was it together?
At that time, I was, quote, helping to run that department.
Okay, great.
Where we served all the meals and everything.
Yep. So where was that location at? Was it in?
It was called Marriott Quorum.
Okay.
In Dallas.
In Dallas. Okay.
Yep.
All right. And what did you learn from that? Basically coming in and because running those events on the back end of those, especially in the catering food service side of it, tends to be a little hectic at times.
Absolutely. It's a lot of work, a lot of hours. Sometimes, we'd work from 18 hours a day, and so it was a lot of hours, but you learned a lot about organization, and I learned to almost speak Spanish, and with the employees, and so again, it was great experience, and I enjoyed it in the fact that it's all about organization and planning, and
making sure that everything is ready when it's supposed to be, especially in that meal prep for that large. When you got 500 to 1,000 people that need to get fed within. Sure. Yeah, that little bit. So so what was next on your trip after that? Well, then
some people might remember a TV show called Dallas, and so I started doing at South Fork Ranch, where Dallas was filmed. Marriott, it actually was an event area where there would be large weddings and company functions at South Fork Ranch. The company would be able to say, look, we had a dinner for our 1,000 insurance agents, and they got they're all from all over the country, and they got to visit the famous South Fork Ranch and CJR. They didn't really CJR, but, so we did the catering out there, and then we also did the catering in the luxury boxes at the Cowboys games.
Okay, so got to feed the folks for America's team, but then I'm just saying that is what they call it down there. Anyways, sure. Yeah, when I was down there, but that's interesting though. So on top of your catering, you're also doing basically offsite catering as well too.
Yes.
So
outside catering is one of the worst jobs in the world. Only because you have to bring everything. And South Fork had its own kitchen, but again, a great experience, and it was. The football games were fun because you got to meet celebrities in the press box, and
so what I guess with your time there in the catering, like what's the biggest takeaway you had? Because you had teams you had to organize and work with and coordinate. Like what were some of your biggest takeaways you had?
Well, again, just like a restaurant owner or any business owner, you just have to love it, and I did enjoy it, and up until. All throughout my career, that's even as I moved up to the sales and marketing side, I would still be in charge of, planning conventions and things like that, working with the clients. And so, again, it's fun, but at the same time, running any event, the Ludington fireworks or anything, it's a lot of work and a lot of logistics, a lot of planning.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned you basically moved up to sales and marketing. Was that the next area of promotion or rotation? What did that look like for you?
No, it was one time I was in the back of the hotel, and we had a huge, 2,000 people dinner, and I saw these people in suits walking out the back door, and I was like, hey, who are those folks? And they said, the salespeople. And I said, well, I want to be in sales. I want to be in sales and marketing.
You saw them getting ready to leave while all the action was happening.
5:01.
5:01, they're out the door. Okay, so but with that, so that is a marked shift from, again, the catering, logistics, the operations piece to go over to sales and marketing. So,
but it's kind of a natural progression, and
you have to understand the product to sell.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep. So I moved into sales and marketing, and kind of we all make mistakes. Kind of a mistake is I left Marriott and went with a company called John Q. Hammond's Hotels. It was a regional company based in Springfield, Missouri, and excuse me, I knew of him because he had donated buildings to our university and things like that. But as a college kid, I was like, whatever. It's the Hammonds building, and so I worked for his company. He had about 80 Holiday Inns and Embassy Suites. And he actually, along with Kemmons Wilson, those two started Holiday Inn.
Oh, okay.
The brand.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's interesting. So
yeah. He was one of the first, along with Wilson, the developer or the creator of Holiday Inn. They were the two that built the first Holiday Inns.
Wow, and there you are with them. So
yeah.
What did that look like? I mean, making that jump to now sales and marketing though. Like what sort of training did they get you, or was it just get out there and go sell stuff?
Yeah, not really, because you knew the business, and I would go all around the country and open their new hotels.
Okay.
He developed a very successful concept where he would build a very large Holiday Inn or Embassy Suites, and the city was building a convention center, and attach them, and so that's what I did. Is I would go maybe a year before we opened and do the PR and pre-sales work and promote that the hotel was opening.
That makes perfect sense, and that's again that's with that. Those are the type of community, or again community leaders, municipality business partnerships that we like to see, where they come in. It's like, hey, we want to get this place where we can invite folks in for X.
Sure.
Hey, we'd like you to be able to give them a place to sleep. Come on in, and you bid it out. Obviously, whoever's going to get it, but it's got to be the right people that get the place there. So, and again, that's very, very smart in the way of setting it up. So there you were coming in. What's it? So with that, those sales out, how far out were you booking? Like when you were coming in doing your sales on that? Like
sometimes a large group could be 8-10 years out.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
That is,
as you know, COVID really hurt that business, but back then you could have like a BMW annual sales meeting that might be booked 7 years out.
Oh wow. I guess that makes sense. So they've got as many people as that they have going on for that. So
yep.
But yeah, to be able to make that transition and go to, and again, for you to come in, and I think this is credit to your character also, where hard work, dedication, which I'm seeing, attention to detail, maybe not in the school world, but for your work and the things that you enjoy, I think it's showing up there. And in this case, for you to go from the operations piece and catering to come over and, within, again, the time frame you have to then be the person that's going around and opening up for this chain around there speaks a lot to, your professionalism, the way that you have stuff. So
yeah, it was unique to switch over to sales.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we're getting ready to head into our next break, and so once after that, I'd love to hear a little bit more about your next journey and kind of how it led you back up into this area. So
sure.
Again, you're listening to Leading West Michigan on 102.7 WMOM, at home on your Amazon Alexa or Google Home smart devices, streaming online at WMOM.FM, and live video streams on the 102.7 WMOM Facebook page and WMOM YouTube channel. So let's head into that break, and we get back, hear about that last little bit of your journey to Silver Lake.
Aaron Doan here. I have some exciting news. State Farm Insurance is here to change the game with unbeatable insurance bundles. Save big, simplify life. Imagine one agent, one bill, and an average savings of over $1,073 a year. Auto and home, auto and condo, auto and renters. Bundles made just for you. Contact Aaron Doan State Farm Insurance today at 231-757-3115. That's 231-757-3115. State Farm, for over 100 years of trusted expertise. Why settle for ordinary? Bundle with the best and enjoy savings and protection. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Ready for a unique and wallet-friendly adventure? Come to Yada Yada Resale. Hunt for treasures in our quality, used clothing, furniture, housewares, kids' toys, and more. It's a fun shopping experience with prices so great you'll do a double take. Support your local community. All funds stay right here in the community. Have items to spare? Yada Yada Resale accepts donations, giving your items a second life. And when you visit, meet Yada Yada's cheerful staff and community volunteers. We're more than a store, we're a welcoming hub. Join the fun, make a difference. Visit Yada Yada Resale today, where every purchase tells a story and every customer leaves with a smile.
Hi, Dave Hansen for Hansen Foods in Hart. Remember that jingle about special orders don't upset us? That's us. Here at Hansen Foods, your culinary grocer, we know that you need items that you just can't get in the big box stores. We carry a wide assortment of food items, and if we don't have it, we get it. Instead of coming up with excuses why we can't get something, we look for ways to make it happen. As it turns out, if you want to buy something, we want to sell it to you. It makes sense for us. Plus, we truly want you to get the items that you want and need. Just let us know so that we can bring it into the store for you. We will even call you when it comes in. And you are more than a number here at Hansen Foods. You are our reason for being here. We still use that old-fashioned concept called customer service in everything we do. Remember, special orders really don't upset us. If we don't have it, we would love to carry it for you. Our customer service is just one more reason to shop at Hansen Foods, your culinary grocer in Hart.
Are you in the market for your next vehicle? Look no further than Watson Motors. The friendly team is here 6 days a week, ready to guide you through the process of finding and customizing your ideal new or used car. We pride ourselves on offering a transparent and stress-free car buying experience, ensuring you get the perfect vehicle at a price that aligns with your budget. Our dedicated sales professionals are committed to understanding your unique needs, making it their mission to match you with a vehicle that not only meets but exceeds your personal transportation requirements. At Watson Motors, in Ludington, Manistee, and Benzie, we're more than just a dealership. We're your one-stop destination for everything vehicle-related. From purchasing and leasing to repairs and maintenance, let us be your trusted partner on the road. Visit us today and experience the Watson Motors difference, where your journey begins with exceptional service and a car buying experience like no other. Watson Motors. Our name means a great deal.
It's Leading West Michigan, and we're back with your host, Ryan Howe, on 102.7 WMOM.
All right, so again, welcome back. And before the break, we were again talking with our guest here, the Scott Beal, the executive director of the Silver Lake Sand Dunes Hart Visitor Bureau and the Chamber of Commerce, about his time where he was Marriott, but now he's moved on to some sales and stuff. Now, what was next for you, and basically what started your transition back up in this direction?
Well, after Hammond's, I got to move up to the corporate level for Holiday Inn Inc. and Hilton Inc. and more of a regional position. I always joke that the regional positions are the ones we get to tell them what to do, but we don't have to actually do it.
Sure, absolutely. Yep.
So I love those jobs.
Okay.
And also. And like with Holiday Inn, they sent me to Orlando, Florida, right after 9/11. And they, because obviously everything was all in upheaval. And so I took over that region right after 9/11, but, with no flights and all the big tour companies from England, stopping all their business. It was quite a, terrible time for everybody.
Oh, for sure. And you learn an awful lot about, how sensitive this industry when it comes to hospitality is. If there's any sort of travel issues the direct impact. We went through this last year with the car ferry. Mm-hmm. When it wasn't able to go, there was an immediate hit on the bookings around here. So being able to manage that. So so with that, how did that look like as far as moving here though? Like you say, where was regional at?
Well, as I said, I was doing the places like Florida and things like that. And in late 2013, frankly, I was getting a little burned out, just whether it was corporate or actually Hammond's had recruited me back to open another new one. And he called me himself, the owner, and he said, I need you in Arkansas. And I was like, Arkansas? And but it was right next to the Walmart World Headquarters.
Okay.
And so that was an incredible experience, as far as getting that one open and working with Walmart and Tyson. And but again, getting a little burned out. So I started reading about these people who bought a RV and just traveled around the country. And I was like, that's what I was born to do. And so we really did it. We quit for a year and bought a very small RV camper trailer, and traveled all around the West for almost a year.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Okay, so we're continuing our conversation with Scott Beal, the executive director of the Silver Lake Sand Dunes and the Hart Visitors Bureau. And again, you started heading west, and again, I've mentioned that before. There's folks, they do have to take time from time to time just to reset and refresh and reprioritize. And I'm assuming that happened during your trip. And what'd that look like for you?
Oh, it was the best year ever. Yeah. Seriously, we just loved it. We only traveled where it was warm, so we would look at the weather forecast, and we'd pull up in these mega Western campgrounds. We had a 24-foot trailer, and a nice one. And there's these huge, $300,000 Winnebagos and fifth wheels, but we just loved it. We bounced around, and towards the fall, we'd planned on only spending so much, and we used that up a lot faster than we thought. So I said, let's go to our cottage in Michigan. It's free.
Fair enough.
And that's how we ended up moving here.
Okay. So, and you ended up staying once you got here.
That's my point. Yeah.
Okay.
All around through the West, we'd go to little, towns in Colorado or New Mexico and say, let's come back here and settle here. It's a nice little town, and we could have, who cares what jobs, but it dawned on us when we came back here, this is a nice little town. And so we decided to stay.
That's great. And what did it look like for work when you got here?
Well, I worked for Werda's, who have the 3 hotels out on 10, and great business, just very well run, and I helped them convert the Baymont into the Holiday Inn Express.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
And so, here, obviously, you got right back into your roots with hospitality, and just, obviously came with a full book of experience, and been like, okay, great. So you did that.
But I'd never actually been based at what we call smaller hotels.
Okay.
So it was, frankly, a learning experience for me.
Oh, I'm sure there's more jack of all trades that are required at a smaller one for sure. Would be my guess.
The phone would ring, and the front desk person is sick, who was supposed to work at 7, and I was like, oh wait, we don't have anybody else. I have to go in.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it was great. They were great, and then my wife heard about Hart Silver Lake Chamber was hiring somebody, and so I found them and applied, and I got hired.
So why was so with that what was your interest in going over there?
Well, that's a good question. Yeah. Through years and years of being in hotels, I was always on the chamber board or the visitor bureau board, wherever I worked, and I'd sit through those meetings and I'd say to myself, I want to be the one who does the visitor bureau. That's more fun. And so I'd always wanted to.
So this opportunity came up. And so what was the interview process like when you, you said, they're looking for this, and you submitted, what was the interview like, or what was it?
Well, frankly, that's the good and bad about, smaller areas, population areas. They didn't exactly have thousands of applicants. So it worked out great. We had one good interview with the board, and again, I had always wanted to try in hotels what we kind of called the other side.
Sure.
Like Brandy here, and I'd always wanted to try it, and frankly, it's been the most favorite job I've ever had.
So you get into that position, so you're hired, and you got your first few, let's say first couple months, first 2 months, when you look around, what did you see when you first got in there? What was that like? You've gone from obviously regional, high corporate level to about as micro as you're going to get when it comes to that. So
and the first shock was, they said, you're self-employed, you're a contractor. And I was like, what? No benefits or anything. I'd never done that before. And but again, it wasn't a negative. It was just, they told me that in the interview process. And so for me, being with big corporations, that was probably the scariest thing.
Okay.
Is I had never been self-employed.
So with that, you come in and you are, and I'm just saying this a bit of an outsider, even though you had been here for a bit or whatever, but
Yep.
you come and land there. How was it coming into that community, and as far as offering your services, what was the welcome like?
Oh, just the nicest people in the world. Seriously, in bigger cities, myself included, sometimes we'd complain to the visitor bureau or the chamber, like, we don't like this, or whatever. I've had maybe 2 complaints in 7 years.
Okay, all right, well.
They're so nice, and again, Mason's the same way. But I'd learned that moving around the country, that no matter where I lived, most everybody was very nice.
Yeah, that's been kind of my experience too, especially when you find that the vast majority of people are great folks. They just want to come in, do good work, and take care of their area and take care of their folks. So that's what you got on tap. That's what welcome, and you probably enjoyed your experience as well to be able to come in and say, hey, I've got something to bring to here as well.
Absolutely. But yeah, it's, the support. And again, one of them called me the other day, and we had our new events calendar come out, and I missed their event. And, I'm just saying, they're like, just get it on there next year, and again, very good support. Frankly, the only thing I've learned with these small business owners is it's very, they're so busy, it's hard to communicate with them, frankly.
Absolutely. And as we head into our final break here, that's definitely something that, is one of the things you have to be able to work through here, is that you do have these small business owners. They are owner operators, so they're definitely busy there. So again, you're listening to Leading West Michigan on 102.7 WMOM, at home on your Amazon Alexa or Google Home smart devices, streaming online at WMOM.FM, and live video streams on the 102.7 WMOM Facebook page and WMOM YouTube channel. So let's get into that final break, and when we come back, let's hear about the team and what you have going on down there.
Sure.
Hey there, students of Benzie, Grand Traverse, Mason, Manistee, Muskegon, and Oceana counties. Have we got news for you? West Shore Bank is rolling out the red carpet of opportunity just for you. 6 incredible scholarships worth $1,000 each, waiting to find their way into the hands of deserving students like you. Applying is a breeze by visiting westshorebank.com and applying online. Or if you're feeling a bit more old school, grab that pen and paper and mail in your application, along with the required documents. Mark April 12th, 2024 at 11 p.m. on your calendar, because this deadline for applicants is fast approaching. Don't let this chance slip through your fingers. Just imagine the relief of lightening the load on your educational expenses. This scholarship could be the key. And the best part? All applicants will receive that golden email in May, revealing the status of their applications. The thrill of victory awaits. So if you're a student in Mason, Manistee, Benzie, Oceana, or Grand Traverse counties, this is your moment to shine. Seize this chance. Make your educational dreams a reality and let West Shore Bank invest in your future. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Snyder's Shoes, where customer service isn't just a commitment, it's a legacy. Snyder's Shoes is excited to share some fantastic news with you. Snyder's Shoes has not just won the Gold Medal Service Award for outstanding customer service from Footwear Insight once, but now, incredibly, twice. That's right. The commitment to excellence has been recognized by secret shoppers who's rated Snyder's Shoes performance. With 85 years in business, Snyder's Shoes has stood the test of time. Many things have changed over the past 3 generations of Snyder's, but one thing remains constant. Snyder's Shoes' dedicated and hard-working team, from the sales team to the merchandise buyers, from the behind-the-scenes staff to store and office managers. Snyder's Shoes has been putting in their all. Shop at Snyder's Shoes, where customer service is not just a commitment, it's a heritage. Come and experience 85 years of exceptional service in downtown Ludington and downtown Manistee. And thank you for making Snyder's Shoes your choice for quality footwear and outstanding service. Snyder's Shoes, stepping into excellence for 85 years and counting.
There's no place like home, especially when your home is in Michigan. Hi, I'm Jameson Tomaski, your Farm Bureau insurance agent in Manistee. I'm passionate about protecting your home, your family, and your community. I live and work right here in the area, so I'm always nearby. Local agent, local service, local savings. Call the Tomaski Agency, a Farm Bureau insurance agency, today and ask about the many discounts you may qualify for. We're Farm Bureau Insurance, Michigan's insurance company.
It's another way to increase the awareness of your events and happenings. It's Mom's Fridge Magnets, presented by Watson Motors, West Michigan CMH, McGee Insurance, and Lakeshore Automotive and Tire. Another fridge magnet comes your way next.
Is stress, anxiety, or chronic pain holding you back? West Michigan CMH has a free app called MyStrength that helps you build a healthier mind for a stronger you. Go to mystrength.com and enter in the access code of WMCMH Community today.
Experience excellence at Watson Motors. Our service department delivers incredible care for your vehicle. Trust us for top-tier service. Drive with confidence only at Watson Motors.
Circle Rocking S Children's Farm will be hosting a special needs Easter egg hunt, bonnet contest, and egg craft on March 26th at 1 p.m. sharp. The hunt will be held inside the barn rain, shine, or snow. Please bring 2 hard-boiled eggs if you wish to participate in the egg crafting immediately following the hunt. This event is free to special needs of all ages. RSVP is required by March 23rd. Circle Rocking S Children's Farm is located at 5487 Tuttle Road in Free Soil. Contact us for details at 231-462-3732. That's 231-462-3732. If your group or nonprofit organization has an announcement that you would like others to know about, reach out to us and we'll add it for free to the Fridge Magnet program thanks to Lakeshore Automotive and Tire, McGee Insurance, West Michigan, CMH, and Watson Motors.
It's Leading West Michigan, and we're back with your host, Ryan Howe, on 102.7 WMOM.
Welcome back. I'm Ryan Howe, and we're on to our final segment with Scott Beal, the Executive Director of the Silver Lake Sand Dunes Hart Visitors Bureau and the Chamber of Commerce. So with that, it is such a dynamic area that you have. And, again, as you mentioned, you're a entity of one down there for the most part, but you do have a team, that you do bring on. So who do you have for help or community partners that you might be able to talk about here for a second?
Well, I think one interesting thing is a company called Right Side Design, and they produced our visitor guide. But the interesting thing about it is they also do produce Ludingtons, Manastees, Newegos, and Cadillac.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and they have for years. So for me, it was interesting that they knew the area so well, even though they're based in Manistee. And so they've been a huge partner as far as help, and they produce a lot of our infographics and collateral and things like that. Yeah.
And again, as far as events and things you have going on, you have any help with that?
Yes,
Yeah.
I do have a young local lady who I didn't even know it existed, but she majored at Grand Valley in event management.
Oh wow, what's her name?
Erin Stotler.
Okay, yeah. So I think she might have been in the office when I stopped by the one day there too. Yeah, and having somebody that's basically as a quarterbacking those events to be able to help out everybody, because not everybody has experience with events.
Sure.
To build off that's great. So with that, what do you guys?
We also have Right Side also does our paid social media marketing, and which, as most folks know, is a huge part of the marketing of any organization. That's what I try to help the businesses with, is to make sure they understand, they don't need an ad in Pure Michigan magazine, or guide. It's all about the paid social media.
Yep. And there's just understanding those different areas, the avenue they have here. Obviously, places like WMOM have a great reach. This is a good spot for money to go to and be able to help, because it's local and they're going to hit stuff up for sure. But yeah, understanding other avenues might be there. But with that, what are you guys having coming up for events here? And as season is turning on down in your area.
Well, that was one thing I learned quickly the first year. Is I thought everybody was open, April through October, and it was busy, and it's really not. It's as we all know, even in Ludington, a little longer season, but it's basically mid-June to mid-August. And that's been one of the things. I actually just had a call about it yesterday, where when Michigan passed the law about high schools or schools waiting until after Labor Day. Over the last 8 years or 6 years, so many big districts and big cities have gotten waivers on that. So they're starting mid-August. And it's killed not only the tourism in Michigan, but the staffing.
Oh, yeah.
Lack of employees.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. That's a huge part of that also. Yeah, I remember when we used to start, and there has been a shift, and there's obviously reasons for that. But like with any, those type of decisions, there's second and third order effects that aren't necessarily thought through.
Sure.
That they have impact. So with that, how have you advised the folks that you're there to support to make adjustments for that?
Well, in the Silver Lake area, frankly, it's been shortened their season. It's really been wait until May to open and close in September.
Okay.
So not for all of them, but it has, as you know, any business, it has to be busy enough to be open. And so the season is really contracted.
And
over since I've started.
And so what's been the impact with that on the local community, like as a whole, like, maybe not just in the, in the hospitality space, but what's that done for, other businesses like in restaurants and other stuff too?
Well, yeah, I mean, the ones that are open all year round, there's less activity, less impact. And so it really has become where that business owner has to maximize what they can in a very, very short time.
Yep. So, in our last few minutes here, again, talking about Hart, again, there's a, as far as a thriving downtown, things that are happening there. I think that recently I actually had somebody ask me about the Tin Man. I thought it was pretty interesting. And you guys are the owner of the Soul Stoplight in Oceana County.
Yep.
Which is something
Yeah, Hart's a good story where one of the main objectives they gave me when I started was we got to try harder to get the tourist to understand that there's things to do in Hart. And with what they've done, they hired a person to do economic development, which was very forward thinking. That, along with what we've done, has really helped that whole area. As you said, the downtown and the Hart proper, the Tin Man was a great community effort, and contributions. People would even walk into my visitor center and drop off checks for the Tin Man, and very successful down there. And but yeah, for us, the big events coming up this year are the Silver Lake Sand Dunes Jeep Invasion, the first weekend of June. And of course, we're unique where there's 3 fireworks, Hart the 2nd, Pentwater the 3rd, and Silver Lake the 4th. Mm-hmm. And the first weekend of September, the Silver Lake Sand Dunes Apple and Barbecue Festival.
That's great. Yeah, and again, with that, it's, again, I really appreciate you coming on here. Again, it's one of those dynamic areas. I had a lot of friends down in Hart when I was in when I was in school here, and we used to go down there and just say, just a beautiful spot it was. We always enjoyed it. Same thing down, taking advantage of the dunes. I think everyone's been out there for that. So, your work that you're doing there, especially your expertise in hospitality and with tourism, I know is an asset to that area to be able to help advise and guide them as that area, it will only continue to evolve over the next years as this area continues to grow. So, again, that's about all the time we have for today. Again, Scott, just want to thank you for coming in again, sharing your journey on that. It's you had a lot of transitions, but I think we found the right spot for you. So we're happy to have you here. Again, for those who aren't following Summit Business Guides on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, you are missing out on a lot of information I share with my clients. I'm easy to find. Just search for Summit Business Guides and click that subscribe button. You'll be glad you did. Also, be sure to connect with me personally on LinkedIn. And if you'd like to connect for a deeper conversation about how I might be able to help you, send me a note at ryan@summitbusinessguides.com. Now, I'm always looking for new leaders to have on the program and give them an opportunity to share their stories. If you know a leader making an impact, go to summitbusinessguides.com/leadingwestmichigan and submit their name for consideration. Next week, Ron Bacon, the District 7 Mason County Commissioner, joins me to discuss his journey to become a West Michigan leader.
You've been listening to Leading West Michigan with Ryan Howe, a weekly program where you hear success stories of local officials